Hello and welcome. I am Christine Zhou reporting for ATF TV from London. Today we welcome Professor Christian Kronseder to ATF TV. Professor Kronseder is the founder and CEO of AllIndex, a Swiss-based index creator. AllIndex worked with the ATF Group Index Group on the creation of the benchmark ATF China 50 Bond Index, the world's first liquid and tradable Chinese onshore bond indices. Christian, welcome to ATF TV.
Well, thank you, Christine. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. To start with, can you tell us about the indexes in general and how and why they matter?
Yeah, sure. So indices have been around now for quite some time, and I think everybody is familiar with the likes of S&P 500 or Dow Jones. The original idea of those indices were actually to create some sort of a reflection of what's happening in a particular market. Now, over the last 10, 20 years, they also became a very interesting vehicle to wrap financial products around it. We've all seen the rise of ETFs, exchange-traded funds, which are some sort of the herald of passive investment, as it is called now, to offer investors a broader range of investment topics and capabilities driven by a number of indices. And mind you, there's more indices on this planet as there are stocks listed in exchanges. So these are quite popular vehicles and can be used for all sorts of things.
So what makes ATF China Bond 50 Index stand out when compared to the more well-known US indexes?
Okay, there's a few distinctions we have to look at. So it is not a regular index, as everybody knows, like an equity index. So it's a bond index, and bond indices haven't been so popular in the past as equity indices because everybody can relate to them easier. Credit is a bit more difficult to understand. So what we have done from the beginning is that we were specifically not following the rules how to build a bond index because the goal was that with this particular index, we create a so-called access product. So we give anyone who's interested in this index, we give them the ability to access this in a very simple and transparent way. So that's why we deviated quite strongly from regular bond indices. And how do regular bond indices look like? Well, very easy. They are selected based on issuance size. So how much was issued for this particular bond based on the credit rating of this particular issuer. But then you end up lumping together several thousand bonds into one index, which does, in this particular thing, what we wanted to do here, not create the transparency we wanted. So that's why we went down another path and basically selected quite vigorously the bonds we thought that might be the most liquid ones. So we're looking at trading activity, how much is traded. We look, of course, at credit rating. We look at simple bond constructs. So we look at so-called straight bonds, which are easier to understand and also convey what they're doing. And ended up with let's call it a portfolio of 50 bonds of 50 issuers, which from our point of view, describe the economic activity of China mainland quite well.
And why do these indices matter for China?
Well, we have here a very paradox situation. So we have with China the second biggest bond market globally, but we also see at the same time that foreign ownership of Chinese onshore bonds is very, very low compared to other countries. There's several reasons. One is clearly to be found in the way that China is very carefully and gradually open up to foreign investors. So that's one thing. But the other thing is also that since it's a market which a lot of people do not understand in detail from a credit point of view. I think we agree everybody knows a lot about equity, and we only have to talk about Ant Financial and also Baidu and all these great fintech companies we know are coming out of China. But here in the credit side, there's less know-how. And so with this setup, we aim and we strive for creating a certain level of transparency, which up to now hasn't existed.
Will we be seeing more ATF indexes in the future?
Yes, so of course. So we have a lot of plans in the drawer. So this is only the start to give anybody who's interested in investing in China from a credit and bond point of view some sort of first flavor. But we had discussions today with a rating agency where we were looking into certain topics ranging from green bonds down to certain industries, sectors, and levels. And nobody has actually also touched what is called risk premia bond indices. So that's something we will further pursue, and that might be very interesting for anyone investing in China.
In our last question, from what I understand, indices are essentially a way of slicing and dicing thousands of companies in the world and used to make predictions on the stock market. So what can indexes tell us about what is going to happen to our world in the future?
Well, they are some sort of a fantastic gauge of where the market is heading toward. I think what's particularly interesting in relation to the bond indices we're doing together with ATF is that we get some sort of a very good view on where the credit market, i.e. the trust in certain companies, is heading towards. I think that's a very, very interesting piece of information about this particular market because, as I said, it's the second biggest bond market you find globally. So interesting gauge to look at.
Thank you, Christian.
Thank you as well, Christine.
For more stories like this on what is driving Chinese and Asian markets, please check out asiatimefinancial.com. Thank you all for watching. I'm Christine Zhou in London, reporting for ATF TV.